Hello, welcome back to a Q&A with Brandon Chen. I'm a professional in the manga, webtoon, video games, and novel space. I create original intellectual property for all of those industries, and I'm here to answer your questions on anything that you ask me on social media. So here we go. These are questions that are asked on my Twitter, which is Inspired Mangaka. How much is pre-written and how much happens on the go as you draw? What are your top tips for success? Getting popularity, keeping physical health in check, staying motivated, disciplined, etc. You just asked me like 20 questions in one go. So how much is pre-written? Typically for the webtoon space, we'll write up to 20 to 30 chapters before the release, and then we'll actually produce those 20 to 30 chapters. So actually, when it's serialized on the webtoon space, you're not actually seeing, which is typical in the industry. This is not just one publisher. Most people in the industry will build a buffer so that if we have to take a break for 1 week, like we can still publish that week, right? There's usually a buffer before the actual publication is released. But I usually try and stay like 5 or so chapters ahead of the actual publication at all times. What are your top tips for success? Post on social media. When you do your project, start off small with your projects. Don't try and do the next One Piece. Try and do the next one shot, really short concept, really short idea. If it does really well, expand from there. Don't try and do the next One Piece. If it's your first series, you're gonna fail. It's gonna happen, right? It's not, because you're learning. It's a learning process. When you do your first one shot, when you do your first series, it's always a learning process. My first novel that I wrote when I was 17, garbage. People liked it, but I think it's garbage compared to where I am now. That's because I'm always growing, right? And so you want to start off small, grow, learn from your series, and then level up to the next thing. And that's why I do so many series. Every series I do is better than the next. That's how I live my life. So keeping physical health in check. Make sure that you keep your physical health in check, like when you're serializing. That's my entire goal for this year. Hit the gym, eat healthy, don't drink alcohol, don't do anything that's bad. Mental health, physical health. Because here's the thing, if I die or I have a mental breakdown, I can't work, can't serialize, the readers are unhappy, I'm unhappy, endless loop. Gotta make sure that I'm alive and that I'm not suffering like a lot of mangaka out there that die at the age of 40. That's not what I'm trying to do. Keep your physical health in check. That matters more than anything else. Would you take on a pitch and potential partner of a manga of established idea? Yeah, I have a lot of publishers or big companies that come to me in the video game space that have established intellectual property that are interested in adapting to the webtoon and manga space. That's happened already, and I'm happy to talk about it with them. I think I'm not open to talking about new people who are not established in the industry yet. Basically, I'm not here to train someone from scratch necessarily, unless it's like a paid consulting thing. Most of the series that I do that are collaborations are either with established IP, like really big ones. Like if Mario Brothers came to me from Nintendo and they wanted to do a manga series, I would talk to them, right? No doubt. But if it's even an established mangaka, one of the mangaka that I'm working with right now actually has an anime adaptation of one of his projects already, which is really exciting. I think I try and work with people who are just killing it in the space right now, because I think top 10 anime crossovers, that's what I aim for. But yeah, I don't really take on established ideas that are not concrete or do not have like really high level team at this point in my career. It's just like kind of, I don't know. A lot of people email me with their ideas, but it's like, why wouldn't I just do one of my ideas? I don't know. Because I already have too many ideas. So I don't know. I think that people should just work on their own ideas if they are at that individual level. So do you ever think of making attractive waifus when creating your story? Yes. I think about how attractive the characters are because ultimately that does matter a lot. How attractive the art style is, how simpleable they are. That is all stuff that takes into account. It's kind of like fan service, right? We create that content where it's like really hot boys, hot girls, so that the fans are more attracted and will come and check out the series. It's a natural thing, happens in TV, film, anime, manga. I'm no exception for sure. Except for certain characters, like for example, the goblins from Just a Goblin. I'm not necessarily making them super sexy. Some people do argue that they are pretty sexy. So I don't know. Maybe we do it for everything. Alas, the natural course of the world is to create attractive characters. How do you decide what to keep and what to omit when working with gods that have current followings? It's a tough thing because you want to do it if you're doing a series that incorporates mythology into your story. You don't want to be, I just made a video on this. Check out my YouTube video on mythology here. You don't want to piss off people that follow that religion. For example, like Hinduism, a lot of gods in there. You can integrate like gods into your mythology. If you do a bad take on that mythology, anyone who follows that religion very closely is going to be offended by what you're saying, right? Like that's just how it is. For some dead mythologies, not like dead as in like people don't really worship those gods anymore. Good example, like Greek mythology. A lot of people are not worshiping Greek mythology anymore. You can kind of do what you want with those gods. But for like Hinduism, for example, or even arguably Christianity, Christianity, you got to be a little bit more, it's a little bit more sensitive. If you want to completely isolate that religion and that sector of people, that's fine, but you just have to keep that into mind when you're writing your story. How long will you spend working on a series before doing another? Honestly, I sometimes like pitch like 10 series at the same time and start all of them at the same time. Like that's something I literally do. So sometimes it used to be like I would establish like a strong momentum for the series and then I would move on to another one. But now I just like pitch a bunch of shit at once and I'm just like, okay, like boom, 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 pick up all 3 at once, boom, start them all at once and let's go. It's a little crazy, but I don't recommend that everyone does that. I recommend you do that when you reach the scale of already being able to serialize on a weekly basis without worries. I think once you reach that point where you can serialize weekly, no worries, no stress, very casual, very chill, you still have plenty of time, and you can think about your next thing. Do you use Clip Studio Paint yourself to direct the artist better? I used to. I have Clip Studio Paint. I have the enterprise version where we used to use the cloud to integrate stuff, but now I just have the artist export JPEGs for me and I'll just like screenshot things, leave notes that way, just because it's easier. I don't know, like to go in individually, like I can do it on the fly, like when I'm on a plane or something, they send me the panels, I can just like boom, 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 like clip, clip, clip. Like it's hard to use Clip Studio Paint mobile when you're like at a coffee shop or just because like I'm like on a trackpad on my computer. It's just hard to do sometimes. So honestly, I just have my teams like export the images to me, send them to me on like Discord or something, and then I just like leave comments. So that's a lot easier. I don't usually edit directly in the Clip Studio Paint. I would just like leave the comments for them and I trust the art team to implement those changes. How do you have enough funds to hire artists? Do you work a different job before, saved up then paid enough? I used to make money off of social media at the start, like when I was in high school, and I used that money to hire my first artist for novels. Then I used the income that I made from the novels, because novels, you don't have to pay artists, right? To then pay artists for a comic and manga series. And then it just kept snowballing, right? Then it became like publishers pay me to produce. And now I don't have to pay anything because now the publishers will pay for it. Unless I do my own series, which I'm actually investing in right now, which is short canvas series, manga series, etc. that I self-fund. And that's literally just me lighting money on fire and hoping that you guys like it, right? So keep an eye out for those and I hope you support. But yeah, no, I used to work in finance too. So after college, I definitely had enough money because I was working like finance tech job, which made decent money. And I would just use the money for that and reinvest into projects. But before that, when I was in college, I was also doing internships, paid internships in the tech finance field, and also making money from my books. How do you increase your drawing speed? I'm not an artist, I'm a writer, but how do I increase my writing speed? I used to write novels, so I used to write like hundreds of thousands of words for each novel. So I write pretty fast naturally. And now because I write multiple scripts per day, I just get faster and faster and faster and faster, just because if I do it every single day, the natural course is that you get faster at what you do. How do you market your work? I post on social media. I actually run an agency where I help small to medium businesses market their intellectual properties, whether it be video games, manga, webtoons, whatever, on social media. So if you're a small business, like, yo, hit me up because we actually literally will make content for you. That's literally one of the side hustle businesses that I run. But yeah, I think social media is really underrated for a lot of creators. So that's literally what I use to promote my work. That's what this is. This video right now, it's social media. It's a piece of content. I answer the questions. I tell you guys about my projects and my life, and you guys hopefully get curious enough where you check those things out. What's your biggest inspo when getting into manga and comics? Guys, Bakuman, can you see this? This is from Bakuman, that sticker. A series from the creators of Death Note. It's about manga creation, the publishing industry. So definitely check that out. Big inspiration that made me want to take manga a little bit more seriously. I would say also a lot of the greats, the creator of Bleach, Tite Kubo, big inspiration for me. Jojo R. R. Martin is a big inspiration for me in terms of like world building and fantasy and characters. I take inspiration from a lot of things. That's why my username and everything is Inspired Author, because I take inspiration from all things, like authors, series, experiences, and I bring them in to better myself. And then obviously I pump something out that's new, that feels new and fresh, but also has derived a lot of inspiration from a lot of really, key projects that have influenced my life. So those are just a few. I think Studio Ghibli, Makoto Shinkai are the ones who tap my like kind of romance slice of life, like deep, heartful, soul, whatever themes, right? Disney, like OG Disney stuff. The new Disney stuff is kind of garbage. Those are some of the OGs as well. And then also like just traditional shonen, like the GOATs have all inspired me as well. That's all the questions I'm gonna be answering for today's video. We're getting a little bit over time. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Comment which questions you guys have, and I'll try and integrate them into my next video. And if you guys want more educational content, I have other Q&A videos. There's a class that literally gives you beginning to end how to write and produce a manga series. I have one linked in the description. I'm going to be making a one for the Webtoon space pretty soon, so keep an eye out for that. Manga in Theory and Practice, done by the creator of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, also linked in the description. If you've done all 4 of those things and you still have questions on the industry, on anything, you can also book me for a consulting or mentorship type thing. All the links for all that stuff is going to be in the description. That should literally be enough education to get you started, because if you can't get started based on all that education, I don't know what to tell you guys. Just got to get started. That's all I got. Make sure to peep all my series if you're interested as well. Peace.